with Rebel and Cassidy and the people who are around her, is it fair to say that they are people who, regular people who, when they work together, can accomplish extraordinary things for the betterment of humanity? Is that a fair assessment of what is going to happen through the course of Rebel and what your character is going to be involved in?
Absolutely. Actually, I might steal that from you because that was brilliant. I didn't even think about it like that. But yes, because we start this off where everyone's kind of doing their own separate things and have their own goals in mind. But I do agree that when this particular group decides to come together, they will conquer extraordinary things. Yeah.
Absolutely. This series is going to examine people who are fighting against the machine, a struggle that most people globally can relate to. What is it so appealing about those types of stories to people, to see the machine be taught? But what do you think people will enjoy most about the series?
I think people will enjoy the fact that Rebel is relentless because even though she is the single entity, she does not care that she's going against a machine. She will do what she has to do to fight, and and she doesn't stop, and she owns that. And she knows that she can be aggressive and a little annoying at times in her process, but again, she owns it. And um, I think constantly people are telling her that she doesn't have a case. My character even tells her, "You do not have a case here because this is a machine," as you said. Um, but that doesn't matter to Rebel, and because she's looking at the faces of the people that it is affecting, and she's created relationships with these people that it is directly affecting, and she can't let that go. And
Mhm.
she is the voice that they need because they're outnumbered as well. So once she comes in and people start to hear her name because she is known in the streets, that okay, they mean business, and now their backup becomes Rebel.
Mhm. Cassidy, as you mentioned, she's fighting her own fights before they all come together like Voltron and
Mhm.
do their thing to work together. Cassidy is in trenches fighting her own fight. How would you describe her journey throughout the season? What we'll learn about her?
I can't wait for people to actually learn her backstory, and I won't say what it is, but it definitely gives you a lot of context on why she is the way she is and why she goes so hard to become her own name. Because right now she feels tethered to Rebel's name, and that her mother did everything for her. Her mother got her into law school and all of these things, but she's fighting really hard to claim her own name and to get out of the shadow of Rebel. But it makes sense once you discover what her backstory is. And I mean, at the top of this, you'll find them fighting quite a bit, and it's the choices that Rebel made throughout Cassidy's childhood, which is this career and this type of career, which is so demanding, so time consuming. It takes Rebel away from being a mom. And so that's also something Cassidy's carrying with her, that she didn't necessarily have the mother that most girls should have had.
Mhm. See, I like that kind of a juxtaposition. I guess you could say a unique character for a Black woman on TV, law background, and we're getting these opportunities to see lots of different stories, lots of different varieties of Black women on TV. What did you like most about this character once you read through it and you got to know who she was? What was most appealing about this project for you?
What was most appealing, I think it's just it didn't feel like a cookie cutter show. It feels raw. It feels complicated. There's unique family dynamics. There's all these, the fact that Rebel even has three husbands and three different children by each husband, it just says a lot about the type of show we're bringing. And
Mhm.
that's what attracted me to it. I think specifically Cassidy, when I read her that she's a lawyer, it's like, okay. But then when you read what she's saying and how she conducts herself in the courtroom, and she brings this feistiness, this sass, she brings just, like the passion behind Black women. We carry a lot of passion. Even me talking with my hands right now, like we're not contained. We're not, stern and straight and narrow, like the stereotypical lawyer would be. She brings that vibrance, and I think that's what attracted me to her. It's she's not a boring lawyer by any means.
Mhm.
Um, but truthfully, she's very similar to Rebel in that way, because Rebel is also like that. Rebel is very feisty, very out loud. She'll make a protest by sitting on your floor in the lobby of your office. Like, that's the mother that Cassidy has. And so that to me was very, very attractive.
This is a very high powered cast alongside you, Katie Seagal, of course, Sons of Anarchy, Married with tons of career. Tamala, huge career, Castle films. When the three of you get together, do you have a like a mantra, or do you have some practices you guys do together before you get started, or what is it like on set when you set out to start the day, or what was that first day like, the first day of shooting?
Well, okay, so my first day was actually with James Leisure and Sam, who plays James Leisure plays my father, and Sam is his I guess associate. And so that was my first day, was actually with the guys. And
Mhm.
then I also went into having a heavy courtroom scene my first day. So it was a while before, because it's such a big ensemble, it was a while before I got to get in there with the other ladies. And but I will say, when we finally came together, um it was just, you Katie has a very, very maternal nature about her, which I love, which is, it's kind of difficult to play our characters because our characters bump heads constantly. But
Mhm.
in real life, it's very sweet. Like, I'm happy that she's like now my TV mom. I get to claim her as my TV mom. And then Tamala, on the other hand, she's joking around all day. Like, Tamala gets everybody in a good mood. The cast and the crew love her. Like, she's always coming in with a joke, making someone laugh, remembering people's names, which is I know it seems simple, but that's really commendable. Just to acknowledge your crew
Mhm.
for their first names, even when we're all masked and all you're learning are their eyes. But she's acknowledging everyone and building relationships with everyone, making everyone feel good, even when we're pulling these long hour days. So it's been beautiful to just watch both of them and learn from them too, just as a younger actor, and just watching them, who they've been in the game for like, over 20 years. So I'm definitely grateful to be in the same playing space as them, but also I'm acknowledging that I'm still a student.
That's interesting. I didn't occur to that. We know that crews are masked up and everyone's wearing a mask and being safe on sets, but I never thought of the purview of the actor or the performers. Of all they see is the eyes of the cast and the crew.
Yeah.
When you are performing or stepping into character and you look around after you cut, what is that like for you as an actress, just to look around and see that? Because it's very, very unusual. These are the current circumstances that we're living in. What, because sometimes performers, you have to look around and kind of gauge, like, okay, did I get it? Was it cool? But all you can see is the eyes. What's that adjustment been like for you as a
It,
performer?
it's a huge adjustment, but it's actually kind of it's kind of, because the eyes say so much in general. So the fact that now you only see the eyes, like, you'll know if someone's smiling at you by if they're squinting a little bit, or
Mhm.
but we all are now forced to talk to each other more, because how, like you said, how do you know if something is right, or if it, you know what I mean, if they're responding to it. But there's been a lot of crew feedback as things are happening, which is fun, but it's opened them up to being able to talk to us more. Whereas sometimes, they could acknowledge you, but it's more of like a nod here and nod there. But because we can't really see that, there's been camera guys who come to, oh, I love when you did that. And I'm like, that's cool. Thank you. Like, we don't usually get that type of feedback from our crew. So it's been cool to I don't know, feel like we can all get to know each other, because we are shielded so much. It's forcing us to have more conversation as a result.
Absolutely. I think of all the nuances of conversations and how we do things with our eyes, but now you have to really be focused and
Yeah,
intentional with what you're saying to people. So
yeah,
I enjoyed that.
yeah.
Lex, A pleasure. As always, I'm happy to see you in another project. You're so talented and so beautiful. And this is a great, great project for you to be a part of. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good talking to you again.
You too. Take care.